Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
devotees. It's live, right? Yeah. Hare Krishna devotees. Next part of our Sunday Feast program is the Sunday Feast lecture. Today we have a wonderful speaker and devotee, Her Grace Pushpanjali Mataji. Mataji coordinates RP service. Mataji does book distribution and also cooks prasadam along with Neeraj Prabhu. Mataji Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Over to you, Mataji. Devotees can, Prabhus can form two columns here, and right side, Matajis will sit. In a way, you can see the PowerPoint presentation very clearly, and you can listen with rapt attention. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Kunja Jaya Gopi Jaya Jaya Gopi Jaya Yashoda Jana Jana Ramachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihar Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama
Thank you so much. We'll do the Mangalacharan prayers. So if you know, join along.
It's good.
It's good. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Desatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we are doing the verse 14.4 from Bhagavad Gita. I'm not able to see so clearly, but I'll read once and then we can have 2 or 3 people. Yeah, little bit. Sarvayonishu Kaunteya Murtaya Sambhavantiyaha
Sambhavanti
Tasham Brahma Mahadyoni
Yonir
Bija Pradapita.
Bija Pradapita.
2, 3 people, if they want to recite, we can do. Or kids, if you want to.
Sarvayonishu Kaunteya
Kaunteya Murtaya Sambhavantiya Asham Brahma Mahadhyonir
Pita
Aham Bija Pradapita.
Sarvayonishu Kaunteya
Sarvayonishu
Murtaya Sambhavantiya Tasham Brahma Mahadhyonir Aham Brahma Pradapita. Sarvayonishu Kaunteya Murtaya Sambhavantiya Tasham Brahma Mahadhyonir Aham Brahma Pradapita.
Sarvayonishu Kaunteya
Kaunteya Murtaya Sambhavantiya Asham Brahma Mahadhyonir Aham Bija Pradapita.
Sarvayonishu Kaunteya Murtaya Sambhavantiya Tasham Brahma Mahadyonir
Asham Brahma
Aham Bija Pradapita.
So we'll do the synonyms. Sarvayonishu, in all species of life. Kaunteya, O son of Kunti. Murtayaha, forms. Sambhavanti, they appear. Yaha, which. Tasam, of all of them. Brahma, the supreme. Mahat Yonihi, source of birth in the material substance. Aham, I. Bija Pradaha, the seed giving. Pita, Father. Since I can read the translation, it's just one para purport, so I will read it. Translations by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. It should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed-giving father. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In this verse, it is clearly explained that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is the original father of all living entities. The living entities are combinations of the material nature and the spiritual nature. Such living are due to the mother, material nature, and Krishna's seed-giving process. The purport is that the material world is impregnated with material entities who come out in various forms at the time of creation. So this is a very famous verse. Krishna, he says that he is the seed-giving father of all living entities. He says that he is the source of all things and all living beings. Aham bija pradapita. So the first verse of Brahma Samhita, it says, Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. So the translation is like this. Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is the supreme God. That's Ishvara Parama Krishna. Who is saying this? Krishna. And who is he? He is the Parama Krishna. He is the supreme personality of Godhead. Sachidananda Vigraha means he has an eternal, blissful spiritual body. His body is not destroyed like ours. It is eternal and it's full of spiritual bliss. Anadir Adir Govinda. He is the origin of all things, all living entities, material, spiritual, everything comes from Krishna. Sarva Karana Karanam. He has no other origin and he is the prime cause of all causes. So there's also a similar verse, little bit similar in Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 3, 28th verse, where it says, Krishnastu Bhagwan Swayam. We have heard that many times. So Krishna is the original personality. It means, rather, Krishna Prabhu, many times he says this thing. He says Krishna is avatari. He is not an avatar. He is not an incarnation. He is the origin from all other incarnations come from. He's supremely independent. That means there is nobody above him. Nobody controls him and he is not controlled by anybody. Everything is under him. And there is no one greater than him. Like he is the greatest personality. So His Grace Radhikaraman Prabhuji explains that when we think of God as God, generator, operator, destroyer. We think that's what God does. But he says, he gives more explanation that he says that the job of creation, maintenance, destruction is not befitting for, the Supreme Personality. Like, for example, we can understand if there is a CEO of a big company and if they want to construct a new office, then the CEO is not going to come down and lay the bricks. He's not even going to call the contractors and ask them, hey, what is your bid? What's your timeline? Somebody else already will do all this and he's just going to approve the plans. So similarly, God does not directly, involve in creation, maintenance, and destruction. It is all done by his approval, but by his expansions. He is only Leela Purushottam. So he is, most of the time he's like oh, what is Mother Yashoda, is she mad at me? What is Radharani doing? Is Radharani mad at me? Because he gets into mischief. He's thinking like what he wants to play with his friends. So he is constantly only engaged in Leela with his devotees. He's reciprocating with them, and he's just doing pastimes. So that is what Krishna does, like apart from playing his flute. So I have a picture of all the some expansion, simplified version of the expansions of Krishna, and I'm sorry that you cannot see it, but I will go over this, and many of you already know it, and those who don't, even if you see the chart, even if you hear it, it'll go over your head, and it is supposed to. Krishna's expansions are very complicated, and even the simplified version is a little bit complicated. So just hear it, but we'll make only 1 or 2 points for understanding about what we're going to speak about today. So from Krishna, the first bodily expansion is Balramji. From Balramji comes Aniruddha, Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna. And then from this Sankarshan comes Narayana. And then from this Narayana comes the second quadruple expansions. Again, Aniruddha, Vasudev, Mahasankarshan, and Pradyumna. From this Mahasankarshan, all living entities come. And the Purusha avatars, they come. The 3 Purusha avatars, Karnodakshai Vishnu, Garbhodakshai Vishnu, and Shirodakshai Vishnu. So Karnodakshai Vishnu, he lies in the Karna ocean. And from the skin pores, all the millions and millions of universes are generated. And he glances on the material nature to the seed-giving process, that the glance on the mother nature to transfer all the living entities into the material universes. Then Garbhodakshai Vishnu, he lies on the Garbhodaka ocean. From his navel comes the lotus flower from which our Lord Brahma comes. And then Shirodakshai Vishnu, he lies on the milk ocean, Shwetadeep, and he is the super soul of all of the universe. That he's there in each and every atom, in each and every living entity. So today is being the most auspicious occasion of Mahashivratri, so we will focus a little bit on Lord Shiva. So the purpose of this expansions is to focus what is Lord Shiva's role in the material universe. So he comes from Lord Brahma, from in between the forehead of Lord Brahma, but his position is much higher than Lord Brahma. So who is Lord Shiva? Lord Shiva is a Guna avatar of Krishna. He is not a Vishnu Tattva. He's not Jiva Tattva. In between Vishnu Tattva, Jiva Tattva, there is his own Tattva called Shiva Tattva. So he is neither a Vishnu Tattva, not a Jiva Tattva, but his own category, very special category and a very powerful incarnation, Guna avatar of Krishna. So that is Lord Shiva. So I just said that Karnodakshai Vishnu, he glances at material nature. So that glance is Lord Vishnu. That glance is Shiva. He is the one who carries this glance of the living entities to the material nature. So he comes in contact with the material nature, that is Mother Durga. So he is also our father in the material world. And he is the material cause of the creation. Apart from the creation, he also helps in preserving the material, cosmic manifestation. And we usually think of maintenance is as Lord Vishnu's purview, that he does do that, but Lord Shiva also helps. So Lord Shiva, he has that Damru, right? Does anybody know what's the name of Lord Shiva's Damru? It's called Dhimdhima. So he has the Damru. When he plays that Damru, the sound incarnation from that Damru, it creates the Tantra Shastras. So these Tantra Shastras, they help the living entities in coming up to the spiritual life. They give the knowledge of how you can come to spiritual, services. How do you elevate our consciousness? So that is done by Lord Shiva. So we also know the story of the churning of the ocean. So when the ocean was churned, the first thing that came was the very venomous poison, the halahal poison, and it was going to, affect all the living entities. And Lord Shiva, out of his kindness, he tells Mother Parvati that, see how all this living entities are suffering from just the venom of this poison. I should save them. And by his own mystic power, that whole ocean of poison, he contains it into his palm and he swallows it and he keeps it in his throat and he gets a blue line. And that looks like a mark, but that is his compassion for the living entities, that he accepts that service to save everybody. So that's how he also helps in preserving the cosmic manifestation. And we all know Lord Shiva is in charge of which part of the material universe? The destruction of it. So when there is time to destroy something, Lord Shiva is, he creates that fire from his third eye. He plays the damaru, because at that time there is no orchestra. Nobody is keeping the time. He himself dances. He's not like, calling for all the bulldozers and bombs and all that to destroy. No, he just does it by a dance. And he plays his damaru, he's keeping the time, and by his dance, he destroys the cosmic manifestation, because that is also essential. And then how do we understand his position? Like, there are all these demigods, right? Can we name a few demigods? Anybody knows who are the demigods, kids? Yeah. Brahma, okay. Brahma is actually, his position is more higher than the other demigods. Other demigods that you can think. Indra, yeah. Varuna, Indra, Varuna, Chandra, Surya. See, these are all demigods. They're in charge of different things. So can we become demigods? Can we get a position of demigods? What do you think?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Because they are also Jivatattva. By doing, yagyas or having karma, that we can elevate ourselves to the position of demigods. What about Lord Shiva? Can we be Lord Shiva? No, right? Because he is not a Jivatattva. We cannot become Shiva. Can we be Vishnu?
No.
No, we cannot, right? So, but there is a difference between Lord Krishna and Shiva, and that is explained very nicely by the verse in Brahma Samhita. Shiram yatha dadivikara vishesha yogat sanjayate nahi tatha pritakasti hetuhu yah shambhudam api tatha samupeti karyat Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So Brahmaji is explaining, actually the Brahma Samhita has a lot of prayers that we can use for the worship of other demigods also. Like he explains very well the position of Lord Krishna. Even prayers are there for Surya. Prayers are there for Ganesha, prayers are there for Mother Durga. So this verse is explaining about Lord Shiva, and the position of Lord Shiva is explained by means of an analogy between milk and yogurt. So when a culture on acetic acids they added to milk, that becomes transformed into yogurt. So Krishna is compared to milk and Shiva is compared to yogurt. So the purpose of this analogy is not to explain transformation, it's to explain the cause and effect. From Krishna comes Lord Shiva, but from Lord Shiva, we cannot get Vishnu or Krishna. So it's unidirectional. From the milk, we can get yogurt, but from yogurt, we cannot get milk. That is how we can understand the position of Lord Shiva. The moment the incarnation comes in contact with material nature, he becomes Shiva. So that is the Shiva position. There are many verses and pastimes for Lord Shiva in Srimad Bhagavatam. I'm going to talk about two. So there's one verse in 6th canto, 3rd chapter, 20th verse. It's quite famous. You would all know about it. It says, Swayambhur Narado Shambho Kumaro Kapilo Manuhu Pralado Janako Bhishmo Balir Vayasakhir Vayam. So this verse is explaining that there are 12 Mahajans and it's spoken by Yamraj. So he says Swayambhu is our Lord Brahma, Narada is Narad Muni, Shambhu is Lord Shiva, Kumaro are the 4 Kumaras, Sanandan, Sanatan. And Kapil is Kapil Muni, a son of Devahuti and Karna Muni. Manu is Swayambhu Manu, the first Manu who comes for every kalpa of Brahmaji's. First, every kalpa, the first Manu is Swayambhu Manu. Prahalado is Prahlad Maharaj. Janak is, you know who's Janak Maharaj? Father of Sita. And Bhishma, we know, he is the grandfather of the Kuru dynasty. Bali, we know, Bali Maharaj? Huh? No, not that Bali. That is Wali, yeah. Who is the other Bali Maharaj, whose story is there in Srimad Bhagavatam?
Prahlad Maharaj, your grandson.
Yes, yes. So he's the one from whom Vamana Dev comes and he begs 3 pieces of land and he takes everything and gives himself also in that process. Vyasakhi, do we know who's Vyasakhi mean? Vyasadev? No, Sukadev Goswami. Yeah, and Vayam means we all. So since Yamraj, he's speaking the words, he's not telling himself. He says, we all are the 12 Mahajans. So Lord Shambhu is one of the 12 Mahajans. And because these 12 Mahajans, they are the great personalities and great devotees, they know the purpose of religion. So any living entity who wants to achieve the highest supreme benediction in life, they can follow any one of these 12 Mahajans and they will achieve that supreme benediction in life. The second verse in glorification of Lord Shiva is from 12th canto, 13th chapter and 16th verse. Nimnaganam yatha ganga devanam achyuto yatha vaishnavanam yatha shambhu puranam idam tatha. So in this verse, it says, among all the rivers, Ganges is the most important. And among all the worshipable deities, Achyuta is Krishna, he is the most important. And in all the Shastras, all the scriptures, Srimad Bhagavatam is the most important. And similarly, among all the devotees, Lord Shiva is the greatest. So Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu. All the devotees, Lord Shiva is the greatest. So why is he the greatest? Like what makes him the greatest? So Guru Maharaj, he says that the 2 most important qualities that makes a devotee the great, very great. Anybody wants to take some guess? What could be one quality that you think that would make person, like if you want to know who is the greatest devotee or not, what is that quality?
Whatever Krishna says he does, then he is the great.
There are many others they do.
Detachment from all of the world.
Okay. Okay, those are good qualities. Knowledge, that's also good. Yes, Prabhu? Yeah, Lord. Yeah. And how do we think of that? Is one we know is by chanting the holy name. So a person, if you want to know who's a great devotee or not, a person who is chanting all the time. And one example I'll say is Haridas Thakur. And if you think, you'll think of many other devotees. They're all the time chanting. Even when they're preaching, they're chanting. Everything they do is chanting of the Lord's holy name or the guna or the leelas, the form, whatever. In whatever form, they all the time, 24 hours a day, they're chanting. So that's the sign of a great devotee. And the second quality is compassion. They have compassion for living entities. They give Krishna to other people whenever they can, however they can, and they don't stop with that compassion. So these qualities are embodied in Lord Shiva. He is chanting all the time. He's very attached to chanting Lord Ram's name. So when we chant Ra, it says the sins, they leave our mouth. And when we do Ma, we close our mouth so the sins, they don't come back. So can we just do one time the Hare Krishna mantra and focusing on Rama? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So he's chanting all the time. And he also has this, compassion for living entities. What he does is like not just like the yogis and the impersonalists, they go to him, because if somebody is not ready to directly worship Krishna, then they follow all this jnana path and the yoga path, and they take shelter of Lord Shiva. And and Lord Shiva also helps elevate them, based on where they are in their spiritual journey. Lord Shiva helps them. But Lord Shiva also helps all these beings who don't even have any body, the ghosts, the goblins, the witches, and all these entities whom nobody likes. Like, for example, snakes and scorpions, even they have families. They are liked by their own families, But who likes ghosts? Nobody likes ghosts. These kind of entities who are rejected by everybody, Lord Shiva, he says, come, be with me. And he, from their mode of ignorance, he elevates even them to, slowly to the higher modes. So such is his, compassion, such is his service, that he'll dress himself in such a way that the people in the lowest mode of ignorance will also identify with him, and they want to come to him, and slowly they are elevated. And the very nice article that Keshwani Prabhu he forwarded about Lord Shiva, it very nicely talks about the various services that Lord Shiva does, because it does not look very glamorous or like, but he takes on these services because Krishna entrusts them to it, and because that is his devotion to Krishna and compassion. Lord Shiva is not only the greatest devotee, but this devotion he can give to the others, whom if we approach him and if we pray to him, he's very easily pleased. So he's also called Ashutosh. And it's said that, he has the key to this material world. The Mother Durga is said, she's the warden of the material world, and he is the father. So he has the key to the material world, and he can show us out. So, by worshipping him or praying to him as the greatest devotee of Lord Krishna, he can give us the, the key to, exit this material world and be free from the cycle of birth, death, disease, and old age. And so we just talked about that, he does all sorts of services, but he's also attached to the Sadhu Sangha, and we will see an illustration in a little while. But he is very, very particular about getting association of the great devotees. So we'll do one short story here. So there was this one devotee, Narsingh Mehta. He was a very great devotee of Lord Krishna. And so one time he didn't have any money. Narsingh Mehta was very poor. So he was so poor that he did not even have money to do the Shraddha for his father every year. His brother was bearing the expenses every time. And then one time the brother got upset. He's like, what? I'm doing it every year. You don't do it. This year you have to do it. Narsingh Mehta, he's very simple, innocent, straightforward, didn't even know what it involved, like what all he had to do, how much expense he was. Without, thinking anything, he said, okay, if that's what you want me to do, I will do it. And he said, okay, you do it this year. Then he goes home and he tells his wife that I agreed to do the Shraddha for our father. Wife is like, what? What did you say? Do you even know? Like, we have to call the whole village for this, and where will we get the money? And Narsingh Mehta is like, don't worry, don't worry. And then he goes out and he actually starts calling all the villagers, tells everybody, on this day is my father's Shraddha, please come, bring everybody. And he invites the whole village. And he goes home and he tells the wife that, I invited everybody. It's like, what? You invited everybody? And then, the wife is getting very upset, and she was like, the day of the Shraddha also comes, and she's like, we don't have anything to begin with, don't even have salt, and she gives him a bowl and can you go get salt? He says, okay, I'll go get salt. And he goes to the shopkeeper and he says, I want salt. He's like, yeah, we have salt, take it. And he's like, but I don't have any money. He said, okay, if I give you later. And then the moment they hear that he doesn't have money, the shopkeeper just take the salt back. And like that, he goes to various shopkeepers, nobody gives him. And then finally there's one shopkeeper, he says, yeah, I'll give it to you. You just have to sing 2 Krishna bhajans for me. And Narsingh Mehta is like, I can do that. So he is very happy, and he sits and he starts singing Krishna bhajans. And with how it's with pure Vaishnavas, right? Once they start singing, they're just so absorbed in the devotion into their Lord that they just keep singing. So he's just singing 1, 2, 3, 4, and he's just like, singing and singing, but he has to, go home. So at home, he just gives the wife salt and and he's like, the wife is like, but we need other things. I need vegetables, I need fruits, I need all this in the other ingredients. And Narsingh, just go outside. There's like a big pile of all the ingredients you need. What? I've never seen any big pile of anything outside our house, It's like, no, just go outside and see. And she goes outside and she sees that there's the big pile of all these ingredients that she needs. And she, and then she comes in, and then there is another lady who comes to help him, and they start, cooking. And soon they're like all sorts of nice preparations are all ready. And there's like and the villagers, they start coming, and then, they're seating them. And then the wife says, we don't have anything to serve them, Narsingh Mehta is like, go to that corner. There is all this gold plate and glasses and spoons and everything. It's like, what? Where is gold plate and glasses? And she goes there, it's actually there. And she just serves to all the villagers, and they just start having this Bhagavad Prasad. Then they go and tell other people, and then everybody starts coming, because actually when Narsingh Mehta invited these villagers, the villagers knew he's very poor, but they did not have a good heart. The beginning people who came, they came to make fun of him. They knew that he didn't have money. So it was like, let's go embarrass him by being there and he won't be able to serve. So that was the intention when they come, and they got served so nicely. And then they go and tell, oh, Narsimha Mehta, he's serving such nice prasad and gold plates. And then all the other villagers come and they just serve everybody. Then Matajis come and serve. And Narsimha Mehta is like, all the Matajis are very, very plain saris. This is Bhagavad Prasad. We should give them gold bordered saris. And wife is like, what? I've been asking for a gold bordered sari for a long time. Where is the gold bordered sari? It's like, don't go, just it's in the corner, it's just there, and go get it. And actually it's there, and she gives those nice saris to all the ladies, and Matajis, they accept, honor the prasad, and and then they, after eating, they want to bring back the gold plates and here's your plate. And Narsimha Mehta, no, that's a gift. To take it and go. And they just feed everybody, and very sumptuously and very opulently they do this Shraddha ceremony for his father. And then everybody goes, and then the wife is like, how much loan did you take? What are we going to do? What did you do? Do you know how long it's going to take for us to repay this loan? And she's like, overwhelmed with worry. And Narsimha Mehta is like, I'm very tired. I just want to go take a bath. And then we'll talk later. Okay, can I go and take a bath? She says, okay, go. And then he goes, and then it's like 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour. There's no sign of Narsimha Mehta coming back. And she starts getting worried. She's like, did he drown? It can happen, So she's like, what, she goes out, calling for him and looking for him on the river bank, and she doesn't see him there, and she's looking for him in the village. And then somebody tells, oh, your husband is sitting there, he's here. And she goes there, and he's sitting outside a shop, and he's just and she goes and tells him, what happened? You were supposed to come back hours ago after the bath. He's like, what? And, he just kind of comes back to consciousness types. And he's like, oh, I forgot. Today was my father's Shraddha ceremony. I was supposed to get salt for you. I forgot. I'm so sorry. It's like, what? You got salt and everything. And, we had this great Shraddha ceremony. And he's like, and she tells him some details, and he's like, ask the shopkeeper. I have been sitting here the whole day singing Krishna bhajans. So it was actually Krishna who comes and, who does the whole, who provides everything and who does that. So, and then, the wife also knows. And the Mataji who came was the Dwarkadish Krishna. He comes, and the Mataji who comes to help is no one else other than Rukmini Devi. So Narsimha Mehta was such a great devotee. He had darshan of Krishna 41 times in his life, 41 times. So why are we talking about a Krishna Bhakta today when we are, trying to glorify Lord Shiva? He was initially a devotee of Lord Shiva, and he was such a nice devotee. Lord Shiva was so pleased and gave him darshan, and he said, I'm very happy with you, Narsimha Mehta. What do you want? He said, I'm not a businessman. I don't want anything. I worship you for your pleasure. He says, no, I wanted to ask something. He's like, no, I don't want anything. He said, no, I wanted to ask something. He said, okay, you give me whatever is the best benediction in your thing. So he said, I bless you that you become infused with Krishna Prema and Krishna Bhakti. And that's how he becomes such a great devotee of Narsingh Mehta ki jai, Lord Shiva ki jai. So I have some pictures, which I think we can share later. So there are many temples in Vrindavan for Lord Shiva, but I'm only going to talk about 2, 3. Oh, okay, we have some time. So first one is Gopeshwar Mahadev in Vrindavan. Anybody been there? Gopeshwar Mahadev temple? No? Okay. Gopeshwar Mahadev. So there are different versions. So one time Lord Shiva, he wanted to enter the Rasa dance, and he goes to Purnamasi. And in some version, they say that Purnamasi sends him to Vrinda Devi. And then Vrinda Devi asks him to take a bath in the Mansarovar. And in one version, when he goes to Purnamasi, Purnamasi tells him to do some austerities and take bath in the Yamuna. And then after he comes out of the Kunda, whichever one, he is in the form of a gopi, and he's able to enter the Rasa dance. So Lord Shiva is able to enter the Rasa dance, unlike Mother Lakshmi, who cannot enter into the Rasa dance. So Lord Shiva not only can enter the rasa dance, he can also help us enter the rasa dance. If and he is also the doorkeeper, the dwarpal of Vrindavan. So unqualified people, he stops them from entering Vrindavan. But many of the times, if we think of ourselves really from the Vrindavan consciousness, we will feel that we are unqualified. But Lord Shiva can give us the qualification also to enter Vrindavan. So that is why even the gopis, they worship the Gopeshwar Mahadev to get the mercy that they get Krishna's association and service. So the second one is Asheshwar Mahadev in Nandagaon. So when Krishna was when Nanda Baba had moved from Gokul to Nandagaon because so many demons were coming, so he built a house on top of a hill, and Nanda Baba and Yashoda Maiya, they were there. So Lord Shiva, because he was in the form of a baby, Lord Shiva, he wants to come and have darshan of Laddu Gopal, and he comes because of his little strange appearance, snakes around the neck and crematorium ashes, they are not very baby friendly. So Mother Yashoda doesn't allow him to see little Krishna. And Mahadev, he's very crestfallen. And then he goes to this one, Ashish one. It's the forest, that means the forest of hope. And he just sits there and cries and cries and cries and he keeps hoping that, I don't know how I'll be able to see Laddu Gopal, but I want to see him. So, and then when Shiva is crying like this, the Krishna in Nanda Bhavan, he starts crying. And then Mother Yashoda is trying to pacify him, but there's no way that Krishna is pacified. And then Mother Yashoda, she thinks, did I offend that sadhu who came? Maybe I should call him back. Then she sends the gopis out, and they're all the time, and they finally find him this one, and they bring Lord Shiva back, and he comes very happy, to have darshan of Laddu Gopal. And then after some time, Mother Yashoda indicates, now it's time for you to leave. Krishna starts crying again. So, whatever they do, like Lord Shiva leaves, he cries, Lord Shiva leaves, he cries, or they get the, they get the point. Krishna wants Lord Shiva to stay in Nanda Bhavan. So they made a place for him, and Lord Shiva stays there. So even now within that Nandagaon, that main temple, there is a temple for Mahadev, the Asheshwar Mahadev. So the important point for this story, why I picked it, because he had that intense desire to see, to have the darshan of Laddu Gopal. It's said in the Nectar of Devotion that the only prize for bhakti is intense desire. That is only what we need. We don't need education. Don't need good looks. We don't need beauty. We don't need anything. Just that intense desire. And this intense desire, Asheshwar Mahadev, he had, and he can give it to us, by worshipping him. So the third one is Chakaleshwar Mahadev in Govardhan Hill. So we all know the pastime of Krishna lifting the Govardhan Hill. So when Krishna lifts the Govardhan Hill and all the Brajvasis are underneath, it's raining. So when it's raining, it becomes like very cold. So all the Brajvasis are very cold. So Krishna, he sees that, and then he calls Sudarshan Chakra from Vaikuntha. He tells Sudarshan, you do the parikrama of the Govardhan Hill and do it with such speed that you generate so much heat that all the Brajvasis are warm. So the parikrama is like 21 miles, right? Or somewhere around that time. So Sudarshan does a very good service. He just does very, very fast parikrama of the Govardhan Hill, and, it's very warm, and all the Brajvasis are, very comfortable. And then Sudarshan asks, now, what next? What service? Because he got to please the Brajvasis. So Krishna says, now you go back to Vaikuntha. It's like, what? I thought I got promotion, Vaikuntha to Vrindavan, So he says, I want to stay here. So he said, okay, you stay here. So that place where Sudarshan is staying is Chakratirtha. It's a very powerful place for sadhana. And our Sanatan Goswami, he used to go there every day to do his bhajan. And that is Chakratirtha. And then Mahadev, we said that he is very fond of association of sadhus. Every day he used to come here, Sanatan Goswami, chant the holy name. And then one time there were like lots of mosquitoes. And then Sanatan Goswami, he decides that, it's not possible for me to do sadhana here. So he decides that next day I will go somewhere else. But Mahadev, he doesn't want to give up the association of Sanatan Goswami. So in the form of a Brahmana, he appears to Sanatan Goswami in a dream, and he tells him If tomorrow there are mosquitoes, then you can, leave, but just stay for one more day. So Sanatana Goswami is there for one more day. And Mahadev, since he is in charge of all the jivas and all the living entities, he calls the demigod in charge of mosquitoes and insects, and he tells them, lay off all the mosquitoes from this Chakratirtha. And because of Mahadev's potency, there are like no mosquitoes even now today in Chakratirtha. So there were like no mosquitoes. And then Sanatana Goswami stays, and there is also a temple for our Mahadev, Chakleshwar Mahadev. Chakleshwar Mahadev ki jai. Okay, so there is a prayer to Lord Shiva. I will read, I'll do the words and the translation, and I think then we'll not have the call and response. So this prayer is written by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in Sankalpa Kalpadruma 103. It goes like this. Vrindavana Vanipate Jaya Soma Soma Mole Sanaka Sanandana Sanatana Naradedhya Gopeshwara Vraja Vilasi Yugangri Padme Prema Prayacha Nirupadi Namo Namaste. I'll share this prayer in the links if somebody wants it. So the translation is like this. O gatekeeper of Vrindavan, O Soma, all glories to you. O you whose forehead is decorated with the moon and who is worshipable by the sages headed by Sanak, Sanandan, Sanatana, and Narada. O Gopeshwar, Shiva, desiring that you bestow upon me that prema for the lotus feet of Sri Sri Radha Madhava, who perform joyous pastimes in Brajadham, I offer obeisances unto you again and again. So this is a prayer to Lord Shiva to give us the prema for Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan. And there is also a Shiva Ashtakam that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he he knew he was going to meet them, and he sings the Shiva Ashtakam many times. And it said that when they go there, he meets Shiva and Parvati cooks for him, and he stays there for many days. So this is the love that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had for Lord Shiva. And I will just read the benediction that is there for reciting this Ashtakam with 8 verses. It says, a person who hears this with rapt attention and love, through these 8-fold prayers can quickly gain devotion unto Lord Hari, as well as transcendental knowledge, the realization of that knowledge and unprecedented devotional potency. So we know the story of Narasimha Mehta. So anybody who reads this prayer with love and devotion and with attention, they can get the devotion to Lord Hari, transcendental knowledge, realization of that knowledge, and unprecedented devotional potency. I'll also share this link in the group if somebody is interested. And with this, I will try to end the presentation here. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Do they have
Thank you, Mataji. Would you like to take any questions for that?
I think if you have, but anything relevant to the class, I don't have any knowledge or realization or any devotion, please. So this is just copy paste, and I'm also a beggar of your blessings. So please don't expect that I know. If I don't know, I don't know. But maybe, you can save this for senior devotees.
Sure.
If you have anything, we
Is
can
anyone-
see it some other.
I have a question.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Mataji, for sharing the lovely stories. So my question is, you said the greatest quality that one needs to become a devotee is intense desire. So we see that some people, at least because of where we are in our journey, some people already have the intense desire and some people are working towards it. So is chanting the only way to develop that intense desire, or are there any other qualities also we should follow?
So we have all the 9 processes. Thank you, Mataji. Nice question. But the intense desire is the cost for pure bhakti. I mean, that is different, right? That's the highest level. We need that intense desire to achieve the pure prema of Krishna. But there are many levels. So with the Shravanam, Kirtanam, and Vishnu Smaranam, those are the three that are recommended most for sadhakas when we are beginning. So apart, because we cannot chant the holy name of 24, even if you try, I mean, unless you really are an advanced devotee on a continuous basis, we cannot chant 24 hours a day, every day. That's why we have services and, we have different forms, whatever we like. The five different forms are there. Srimad Bhagavatam, what's the easy way to remember? DT, devotee, Bhagavatam, Dhamvas, and there is one more. It'll come to me. DT, devotee, Dham. Okay, those five things are there. So either reading Srimad Bhagavatam or the other Shastras, that will, increase our love. Then serving the Vaishnavas, that is the very easy way to get the pleasure of Krishna, because when these devotees are served or helped, or if you help them in their journey or you help them in whatever way, serving the devotees is very easy to get that prema, because Krishna will give it to you very, very easily. DTs, you're interested in DT services, you can do DT services. And then Dhamvas, but we should have the Lord Shiva is the Dwarpal for Vrindavan, so we need to have the Vrindavan consciousness, not just we physically be there, because any offenses in the Dham also multiplied, and all the spiritual activities we do, the benefit is also multiplied. So we should have the consciousness to stay in the Dham, but visiting the Dham, visiting the temples, visiting the different Dhams for small short times, that is a very very powerful way to increase our devotion. Just by visiting, we get those blessings. So like this, there are other ways, so because we cannot chant, but that is for the highest devotee, like, Paramhamsa, Srila Prabhupada. One time there was a reporter who asked Srila Prabhupada that you are talking to us, you're not chanting 24 hours. He said, get a stethoscope. And they put the stethoscope, he was talking, he was giving the interview, and then on that stethoscope, they could hear Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare. That is Paramhamsa level. I mean, it's good to, know what it takes, but, we are where we are, and whatever we are, there are activities in devotional field that whatever we like to do, we can do that. And association of devotees and serving itself is very nice way to make progress in bhakti. Thank you, Mataji.
Just one more question.
Sure, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Pushpanjali Mataji. Very happy, and my desire came true today by listening your lecture. And very nice lecture, and you are such a compassionate mother and a sister. I know that, I have a relation with her last 8 years. So I'm very happy to see you in this Guru Tattva position. My question is, gopis, this is yesterday, we have a Bhakti Sastri program. In that, we got up this question, but we couldn't get the answer. This is not relevant to your class, but if you wanted to try, I can open up, but it's up to you, Mataji.
We have senior devotees, they can answer.
Okay. Gopis go Katyayani to approach Krishna, right? Already gopis are in the high level, on prema bhakti to Krishna. Why they worship Katyayani? That's what our question that time.
So there are many levels of gopis, there are the Ashtashakis, then there are different levels. So from sadhana bhakti to raganuga bhakti, this is a lot in nectar of devotion. When you do nectar of devotion, these things will be clear. So we're kind of jumping the gun over here. There are many people in this birth, see, this is in general, I'm saying it may not be true for just for the moment Srila Prabhupada has created. He has created a very powerful and a very shortcut for us to achieve bhakti. This is generally, they say, one lifetime sadhana bhakti. The next time when you start with raganuga bhakti, you get birth as one of the residents in Vrindavan. So the kids of the gopis, they're also gopas and gopis, so they also have to be trained in the raganuga bhakti. So in that process of training, there are many different levels of the devotees there. So, that's how they get trained. They worship Katyayani, they also worship Mahadev once in a while. So different levels are there, and they get trained in that raganuga birth. They get trained by the gopis, because they get birth from the gopis in one of the dhams where Krishna's leelas will manifest. So they get to participate in those leelas, and they get the training to increase their bhakti. So not just sadhana, it is more of the different levels. This is my basic understanding, and please add more if we need. But there are bhakti is like unlimited actually. Even behind the bhava, prema, and all the highest stages, there are even levels beyond that. So there is no end to how much bhakti you can have. And gopis, they are all the time worshipping and praying, and they don't think that okay, oh yeah, we have passed this exam, we are done. We are like certificate holders now, we don't need anything. So the gopis, they themselves also don't think like that. They're continuously practicing and doing worshipping Krishna in different forms, praying. They follow that, and people who are get the fortune birth of having their association, they learn from them. So they themselves practice. They don't give up after they have achieved the prema. They are practicing, and others also get to practice. So I'm really very sorry if I made any mistake, and if I as your humble servant, please forgive me, and please reconcile, with senior devotees if I misspoke anything. And very, very grateful for your patient audience. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Nice class. Hare Krishna.
Let me check there are any online classes. Thank you so much, Pushpanjali Mataji. That was a wonderful class, very realizing. On the occasion of Lord Shiva's appearance, Shivaratri, Mahashivaratri, you nicely spoke about Lord Shiva and his very different pastimes, and Narasimha Mehta's story is amazing. It's very inspiring. It tells like how one should approach Lord Shiva with what kind of mindset. See, when Narasimha was asked for what kind of boon he wants, he said, I don't know it by anything, but Krishna, Lord finally gave. Lord Shiva gave finally, get ultimate love of Krishna. That was really amazing. One should approach any demigod with the love of what you want. This is love of God. That is Krishna Prema. So, and also nice various Lord Shiva's positions in Vrindavan. Amazing. Thank you so much again. Let's give big applause to Mataji. Hare Krishna.
So demigod is not a demigod, because generally people have that. Oh, demigod. See the devatas. Devatas, we call it as demigod, not demigod. They're very powerful devotees of the Lord. Okay. So with that, we'll go to the Aarti.
Yeah. Okay, we are going to have Aarti now. Suvarna Manjari is going to perform Aarti Seva, and Seva is going to lead Kirtan.
नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णापृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमती भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य सदी गाय भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा हरे हरे रामा राम राम हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna